In a small, bustling town, life moved at its own pace. The streets were always alive with the sounds of cars honking, people chatting, and the occasional bark of a dog. Among the crowd was a man in his early 30s, a delivery driver who worked for a local courier service. He wasn't the kind of person who stood out in a crowd. He was quiet, kept to himself, and always wore a simple uniform, a plain shirt with the company logo and a pair of worn-out sneakers. His job was simple: pick up packages, deliver them on time, and repeat. But behind his calm demeanor was a story that no one knew, a story of resilience and determination. The man had been working as a delivery driver for years. He wasn't just good at his job, he was excellent. He knew every street, every shortcut, and every customer's preference. Yet, despite his hard work, he was often overlooked. His colleagues, most of whom were younger and more outgoing, would sometimes mock him. They'd make jokes about how he was just a delivery guy, and how he'd never amount to anything more. They didn't see the hours he put in, the sacrifices he made, or the dreams he carried in his heart. One day, as he was sorting packages in the warehouse, one of his coworkers approached him with a smirk. "Hey, man," the coworker said, "you've been doing this for years. Don't you ever get tired of it? Don't you want to do something bigger?" The delivery man looked up, his face calm but his eyes sharp. "I'm happy where I am," he replied simply. The coworker laughed and walked away, shaking his head. But the delivery man didn't let the comment bother him. He had learned long ago that people's opinions didn't define his worth. What his coworkers didn't know was that the delivery man had a plan. For years, he had been saving every extra penny he earned. He didn't spend much on himself, no fancy clothes, no expensive gadgets. Instead, he invested in books, online courses, and anything that could help him learn. He had a dream of starting his own business, a delivery service that would not only be efficient but also kind and respectful to its customers. He believed that in a world where everything was fast and impersonal, there was still room for a little humanity. The delivery man's days were long and tiring, but he never complained. He would wake up early, make sure his delivery van was in perfect condition, and head out before the sun was up. He had a routine: deliver packages in the morning, take a short break for lunch, and then spend the afternoon studying or working on his business plan. His evenings were reserved for his family, a wife and 2 young children who meant the world to him. They were his motivation, his reason for pushing through the long hours and the occasional ridicule. One afternoon, as he was delivering a package to a small office building, he overheard a conversation that would change everything. 2 businessmen were talking about the challenges they faced with their current delivery service. "They're always late," one of them said, frustration evident in his voice. "And when they do show up, the packages are often damaged. I don't know what to do." The delivery man paused for a moment, then approached the 2 men. "Excuse me," he said politely, "I couldn't help but overhear. I work for a delivery service, and I think I might be able to help you." The businessmen looked at him, surprised. They weren't used to someone in a delivery uniform offering solutions. But there was something about the man's calm confidence that made them listen. He explained his idea for a new kind of delivery service, one that prioritized customer satisfaction, timely deliveries, and care for the packages. The businessmen were intrigued. "That sounds great," one of them said, "but how do we know you can deliver on that promise?" The delivery man smiled. "Give me a chance," he said. "Let me handle your deliveries for a week. If I don't meet your expectations, you don't owe me a thing." The businessmen exchanged glances, then nodded. "All right," they said. "You've got a week." That week was the most important of the delivery man's life. He poured everything he had into making sure the deliveries were perfect. He arrived early, handled the packages with care, and even went the extra mile to ensure the businessmen were satisfied. By the end of the week, they were impressed. "You've got something special," one of them told him. If you ever start your own business, let us know. We'd be happy to support you. Those words were all the encouragement the delivery man needed. He knew it was time to take the leap. With the support of his family and the lessons he had learned over the years, he began to turn his dream into reality. Little did he know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would change not only his life but also the lives of everyone around him. The delivery man left the office building that day with a fire in his heart. The businessman's words echoed in his mind, "If you ever start your own business, let us know." For the first time in years, he felt seen. Not as just a delivery guy, but as someone with potential, someone who could make a difference. He knew it wouldn't be easy, starting a business never was, but he was ready to take the risk. That evening, he sat down with his wife at their small kitchen table. The kids were asleep, and the house was quiet. He took a deep breath and told her about the conversation with the businessman. "I think it's time," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I want to start my own delivery service." His wife looked at him, her eyes wide with surprise but also pride. She had always believed in him, even when others didn't. "If this is what you want," she said, "then we'll make it happen. Together." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. The delivery man spent every spare moment working on his business plan. He researched the market, calculated costs, and reached out to potential clients. He even designed a simple logo for his new company, a logo that symbolized speed, reliability, and care. His wife helped him with the paperwork, and together they saved every penny they could to fund the venture. Meanwhile, at work, things remained the same. His co-workers continued to mock him, unaware of the storm brewing inside him. "Still delivering packages, huh?" one of them joked one day. The delivery man just smiled and nodded. He didn't feel the need to explain himself. He knew that soon, everything would change. Finally, the day came when he was ready to launch his business. He called it Swift and Sure Deliveries, a name that reflected his commitment to speed and reliability. He rented a small office space, bought a second-hand delivery van, and hired a couple of part-time drivers to help him out. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The first few days were tough. He had a handful of clients, mostly small businesses that were willing to give him a chance. But he treated every delivery as if it were the most important one. He made sure the packages were handled with care, the deliveries were on time, and the customers were happy. Word began to spread, and soon, more clients started coming in. One of his first big breaks came when one of the businessmen he had helped earlier recommended him to a friend who owned a chain of local stores. The store owner was skeptical at first. After all, Swift and Sure Deliveries was still a new and unknown company. But the delivery man's confidence and professionalism won him over. "All right," the store owner said, "let's see what you can do." The delivery man didn't disappoint. He worked tirelessly to ensure that every delivery was perfect. He even went above and beyond, offering to help the store owner with inventory management and logistics. The store owner was impressed. "You're not just a delivery guy," he said one day. "You're a problem solver. I'm glad I took a chance on you." As the weeks turned into months, Swift and Sure Deliveries began to grow. The delivery man's reputation for reliability and excellent customer service spread like wildfire. More businesses signed up, and he had to hire additional drivers to keep up with the demand. But despite the growth, he never lost sight of what mattered most, his values. He made sure that every employee understood the importance of treating customers with respect and care. He held regular training sessions and encouraged his team to go the extra mile. "We're not just delivering packages," he would say. "We're delivering trust." Back at his old job, his former co-workers began to notice the changes. They saw the new vans with the Swift and Sure logo driving around town, and they heard the buzz about the new delivery service that everyone was talking about. One day, one of them approached him at a gas station. "Hey," the co-worker said, is that your company? The delivery man nodded. Yeah, it is. The coworker looked at him, a mix of surprise and admiration in his eyes. Man, I had no idea you were doing all this. That's really impressive. The delivery man just smiled. He didn't need their approval anymore. He had proven to himself, and to the world, that he was more than just a delivery guy. He was a leader, a visionary, and a man who had turned his dreams into reality. But this was only the beginning. As swift and sure deliveries continued to grow, new challenges and opportunities awaited. The delivery man knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but he was ready for whatever came his way. After all, he had already overcome so much. And he wasn't about to stop now. As swift and sure deliveries continued to grow, the delivery man found himself facing new challenges. Running a business was more than just delivering packages, it was about managing people, finances, and expectations. But he was determined to succeed. He had come too far to turn back now. One of the biggest challenges was managing his team. He had started with just a couple of part-time drivers, but now he had a small fleet of vans and a growing number of employees. He wanted to make sure that everyone shared his vision of providing excellent customer service. So, he began holding weekly meetings where he would talk to his team about the importance of their work. Every package we deliver is someone's important item, he would say. It could be a gift, a document, or something they've been waiting for. We need to treat every delivery like it matters. His team respected him not just because he was the boss, but because he led by example. He was always the first one to arrive in the morning and the last one to leave at night. He didn't ask his employees to do anything he wouldn't do himself. If a driver called in sick, he would step in and make the deliveries himself. If a customer had a complaint, he would personally handle it. His dedication inspired his team to work harder and take pride in their work. But not everything was smooth sailing. One day, a major client called with a problem. A shipment of fragile items had been damaged during delivery, and the client was furious. "This is unacceptable," the client shouted over the phone. "We trusted you with this delivery, and now we're dealing with broken goods and unhappy customers." The delivery man listened calmly, letting the client vent. When the client finally paused, he spoke in a steady voice. "I'm truly sorry for what happened. This is not the standard we set for ourselves, and I take full responsibility. Let me make it right." He immediately sent a replacement shipment, free of charge, and personally delivered it to the client's warehouse. He also offered a discount on their next order as a gesture of goodwill. The client was taken aback by his professionalism and willingness to make things right. "I have to admit," the client said, "I wasn't expecting this level of service. Most companies would just brush this off. But you've gone above and beyond. Thank you." The delivery man nodded. "Customer satisfaction is our top priority. If we mess up, we'll do whatever it takes to fix it." Word of his handling of the situation spread quickly. Other businesses heard about how swift and sure deliveries had turned a potential disaster into a positive experience, and they wanted to work with him. New clients started pouring in, and the business continued to grow. But with growth came new pressures. The delivery man found himself working longer hours, juggling multiple responsibilities, and constantly worrying about the future. There were days when he felt overwhelmed, but he never let it show. He knew that his team and his family were counting on him, and he couldn't let them down. One evening, after a particularly long day, he sat down with his wife to talk about the challenges he was facing. "I don't know if I can keep up with everything," he admitted. "There's so much to do, and I feel like I'm spread too thin." His wife listened patiently, then took his hand. "You've come so far," she said. "You've built something amazing, and you've done it with integrity and hard work. But you don't have to do it all alone. Maybe it's time to bring in someone who can help you manage the business." Her words struck a chord. He realized that he didn't have to shoulder everything by himself. The next day, he began looking for a manager who could help him oversee the day-to-day operations. It wasn't easy to find the right person, but after a few interviews, he hired a young, ambitious woman who shared his values and vision. With her help, the business began to run more smoothly. The delivery man could focus on the bigger picture, expanding the company, building relationships with clients, and planning for the future. He also had more time to spend with his family, which brought him a sense of balance and peace. As swift and sure deliveries continued to thrive, the delivery man couldn't help but reflect on how far he had come. From being mocked and underestimated to building a successful business, his journey had been anything but easy. But he had never given up, and that was what made all the difference. With the new manager on board, swift and sure deliveries began to operate more efficiently. The delivery man could finally breathe a little easier, knowing that the day-to-day tasks were in capable hands. This allowed him to focus on expanding the business and exploring new opportunities. He started attending local business and networking events, where he met other entrepreneurs and shared his story. People were inspired by his journey, and many wanted to collaborate with him. One such opportunity came from a local tech startup that needed a reliable delivery service for their products. The startup's founder, a young and energetic entrepreneur, was impressed by the delivery man's dedication and values. "I've heard a lot about your company," the founder said during their meeting. "You've built something special, and I'd love to work with you." The delivery man was thrilled. This partnership could open doors to even bigger opportunities. He worked closely with the startup to create a customized delivery plan that met their needs. The partnership was a success, and it brought in a steady stream of new clients from the tech industry. But as the business grew, so did the challenges. One of the biggest issues was maintaining the quality of service while scaling up. The delivery man knew that he couldn't compromise on the values that had made swift and sure delivery successful. He held regular training sessions for his team, emphasizing the importance of customer satisfaction and attention to detail. He also implemented a feedback system where customers could rate their delivery experience. This helped him identify areas for improvement and ensure that his team was meeting expectations. Despite his best efforts, there were occasional hiccups. One day, a customer complained about a late delivery. The delivery man personally called the customer to apologize and offered a discount on their next order. He then investigated the issue and found that it was due to a miscommunication within the team. He addressed the problem immediately, holding a meeting to clarify procedures and prevent similar mistakes in the future. His commitment to excellence paid off. Swift and sure deliveries became known not just for its reliability, but also for its exceptional customer service. The delivery man's reputation grew, and he started receiving recognition from the local business community. He was invited to speak at events and share his story, inspiring others to pursue their dreams despite the odds. Through it all, the delivery man remained humble and grounded. He never forgot where he came from or the struggles he had faced. He made it a point to give back to the community, offering internships to young people from underprivileged backgrounds and supporting local charities. His actions spoke louder than words, and he became a role model for many. As the business continued to thrive, the delivery man couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. He had started with nothing but a dream and a determination to succeed. Against all odds, he had built a successful business that made a difference in people's lives. But he knew that this was just the beginning. There were still more challenges to face, more goals to achieve, and more lives to touch. As swift and sure deliveries continued to grow, the delivery man began to think about the future. He wanted to take the business to the next level, but he knew it wouldn't be easy. He needed to innovate, to find new ways to stand out in a competitive market. One day, while brainstorming with his team, an idea struck him: what if they could offer same-day delivery for urgent packages? At the time, same-day delivery was a luxury offered by only a few big companies. But the delivery man believed that his company could do it better. He spent weeks researching logistics, mapping out routes, and calculating costs. It was a risky move. Same-day delivery would require more resources and a higher level of coordination. But he was willing to take the chance. He announced the new service to his clients, and the response was overwhelming. Businesses that needed urgent deliveries, like florists, pharmacies, and small manufacturers, were especially excited. The delivery man made sure his team was prepared. He held training sessions, invested in better technology to track deliveries in real time, and even hired additional drivers to handle the increased workload. The first few weeks of the new service were a test of endurance. There were late nights, tight deadlines, and a few close calls. But the team pulled through, and the feedback from customers was incredible. "You've saved us so many times," one client told him. "We don't know what we'd do without you." The success of the same-day delivery service brought in even more clients, and the business continued to expand. But with growth came new challenges. The delivery man found himself spending more time in meetings and less time on the road, which he missed. He also had to deal with the complexities of managing a larger team, from handling payroll to resolving conflicts. One day, a disagreement between two drivers escalated into a heated argument. The delivery man knew he had to address it immediately. He called both drivers into his office and listened to their sides of the story. It turned out to be a simple misunderstanding, but it highlighted the importance of clear communication. He held a team meeting the next day to remind everyone of the company's values and the importance of working together. Despite the challenges, the delivery man remained focused on his vision. He wanted swift and sure deliveries to be more than just a delivery company. He wanted it to be a symbol of reliability, trust, and community. He started a program where a portion of the company's profits would go toward supporting local schools and charities. He also began offering free delivery services for community events, like food drives and fundraisers. His efforts didn't go unnoticed. The local newspaper ran a story about him, highlighting his journey from being an underrated delivery driver to a successful entrepreneur. The article praised his commitment to his community and his ability to overcome adversity. Soon, he started receiving calls from other media outlets, and even a local TV station invited him for an interview. The delivery man was hesitant at first. He wasn't used to being in the spotlight. But his wife encouraged him. "This is your chance to inspire others," she said. "Your story can show people that no matter where you start, you can achieve great things if you work hard and stay true to yourself." He agreed to do the interview, and it turned out to be a turning point. People from all over the region reached out to him, sharing their own stories and thanking him for his inspiration. Some even asked for advice on starting their own businesses. The delivery man realized that his journey wasn't just about building a successful company, it was about showing others that they could do it too. The TV interview brought a wave of attention to swift and sure deliveries, and the delivery man found himself busier than ever. New clients flooded in, and the business expanded to neighboring towns. But with the increased demand came new pressures. The delivery man knew he had to find a way to scale the business without losing the personal touch that had made it successful. One evening, as he sat in his small office reviewing the day's deliveries, he had an idea. What if he could create a franchise model? This would allow other entrepreneurs to run their own swift and sure deliveries branches in different areas, while still maintaining the company's core values. It was a bold move, but he believed it could work. He spent weeks developing a franchise plan, outlining everything from training programs to branding guidelines. He wanted to make sure that every franchisee understood the importance of customer service and community involvement. When he finally presented the idea to his team, they were excited but also cautious. "It's a big step," his manager said. "But if anyone can make it work, it's you." The delivery man started by offering the franchise opportunity to a few trusted employees who had been with him from the beginning. They knew the business inside and out and shared his vision. The first franchise opened in a nearby town, and it was a success. The new owner, a former driver, brought the same dedication and care that had made the original business thrive. Word spread quickly, and soon, more people expressed interest in becoming franchisees. The delivery man carefully screened each candidate, making sure they aligned with the company's values. He also provided extensive training and ongoing support to help them succeed. Within a few months, Swift and Sure Deliveries had branches in several towns, and the business was growing faster than ever. But with growth came new challenges. One franchisee struggled to meet delivery deadlines, leading to customer complaints. The delivery man knew he had to act quickly to protect the company's reputation. He visited the struggling branch, spent time with the franchisee, and identified the issues. Together, they came up with a plan to improve efficiency and customer service. It was a tough process, but the franchisee was grateful for the support and worked hard to turn things around. The delivery man also faced challenges on the home front. His children were growing up fast, and he wanted to be there for them. He made a conscious effort to balance work and family, setting aside time each day to be with his wife and kids. He knew that his success meant nothing if he didn't have his family by his side. Despite the challenges, the delivery man remained committed to his vision. He continued to innovate, introducing new services like eco-friendly delivery options and partnerships with local businesses. He also stayed true to his roots, never forgetting the struggles he had faced as a young delivery driver. He made it a point to mentor others, offering advice and support to aspiring entrepreneurs. One day, he received a letter from a young man who had watched his TV interview. The letter read, "Your story inspired me to start my own business. I was stuck in a job I hated, but now I'm following my dreams. Thank you for showing me that it's possible." The delivery man smiled as he read the letter. It was moments like these that made all the hard work worth it. He had started with nothing but a dream, and now he was making a difference in people's lives. But he knew his journey was far from over. There were still more challenges to face, more dreams to chase, and more lives to touch. As Swift and Sure Deliveries continued to expand, the delivery man found himself at a crossroads. The business was thriving, but he knew that to sustain its growth, he needed to think bigger. He began exploring ways to integrate technology into the company's operations. After all, the world was changing, and he didn't want to be left behind. One day, during a meeting with his team, he proposed the idea of developing a mobile app for the company. The app would allow customers to track their deliveries in real time, schedule pickups, and even rate their experience. It was a bold move, especially for a small business, but the delivery man believed it could set Swift and Sure Deliveries apart from the competition. The team was excited but also nervous. Developing an app required technical expertise and a significant investment. The delivery man knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to make it happen. He reached out to a local software development company and explained his vision. The developers were impressed by his passion and agreed to work with him. The process of creating the app was challenging. There were countless meetings, revisions, and late nights. The delivery man made sure to stay involved every step of the way, providing feedback and ensuring that the app reflected the company's values. He wanted it to be simple, user-friendly, and, most importantly, reliable, just like his delivery service. After months of hard work, the app was finally ready. The delivery man announced its launch to his customers, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Businesses loved the convenience of being able to track their packages in real time, and customers appreciated the transparency. The app also allowed the company to collect valuable feedback, which helped them improve their services even further. But the delivery man didn't stop there. He knew that technology could do more than just streamline operations, it could also help the business grow. He started using data analytics to identify trends and optimize delivery routes. This not only improved efficiency but also reduced costs, allowing the company to offer more competitive prices. The success of the app and the use of technology brought swift and sure deliveries to the attention of larger companies. One day, the delivery man received a call from a regional logistics company interested in a partnership. They were impressed by his innovative approach and wanted to collaborate on a pilot project. The delivery man was cautious but intrigued. He knew that partnering with a larger company could open up new opportunities, but he also didn't want to lose control of the business he had worked so hard to build. After careful consideration, he agreed to the partnership, but on his terms. He made it clear that Swift and Sure Deliveries would maintain its independence and continue to prioritize customer service and community involvement. The pilot project was a success, and the partnership brought in new clients and resources. But it also brought new challenges. The delivery man had to navigate the complexities of working with a larger organization, from managing expectations to resolving conflicts. There were times when he felt overwhelmed, but he never lost sight of his vision. One of the biggest challenges came when the logistics company proposed cutting costs by reducing the number of delivery drivers. The delivery man knew this would compromise the quality of service, and he refused to back down. "Our drivers are the heart of this business," he said during a heated meeting. "If we cut corners, we lose what makes us special." His determination paid off. The logistics company agreed to his terms, and the partnership continued to thrive. The delivery man's ability to stand his ground earned him even more respect, both within his company and in the broader business community. Through it all, the delivery man remained committed to his values. He continued to mentor young entrepreneurs, support local charities, and give back to the community. He also made sure to spend time with his family, knowing that they were his greatest source of strength. One evening, as he sat with his wife and children, he reflected on how far he had come. From being mocked and underestimated to building a successful, innovative business, his journey had been anything but easy. But he had never given up, and that was what made all the difference. As he looked to the future, he knew there were still more challenges to face and more dreams to chase. But he was ready. After all, he had already proven that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of faith, anything was possible. The success of the mobile app and the partnership with the regional logistics company propelled Swift and Sure Deliveries into a new league. The delivery man's business was no longer just a local operation, it was becoming a regional powerhouse. But with this growth came a new set of challenges. The delivery man knew that to keep the momentum going, he had to stay ahead of the curve. One day, while attending a business conference, he heard a speaker talk about the importance of sustainability in modern businesses. The idea struck a chord with him. He had always believed in doing right by his community, and now he saw an opportunity to do right by the planet as well. He decided to make Swift and Sure Deliveries a leader in eco-friendly practices. The first step was transitioning the company's fleet to electric vehicles, EVs. It was a massive undertaking, requiring significant investment and planning. The delivery man knew it wouldn't be easy, but he believed it was the right thing to do. He reached out to EV manufacturers, negotiated deals, and even secured a grant from a local environmental organization to help cover the costs. The transition to electric vehicles wasn't just about reducing the company's carbon footprint, it was also about setting an example. The delivery man wanted to show that even small businesses could make a big impact. He announced the initiative to his customers, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Many clients praised the move, saying it aligned with their own values and goals. But the shift to EVs wasn't without its challenges. The delivery man had to train his drivers on how to operate and maintain the new vehicles. He also had to install charging stations at the company's headquarters and franchise locations. There were moments of frustration, like when a charging station malfunctioned or a driver struggled to adapt to the new technology. But the delivery man remained patient and supportive, reminding his team that they were part of something bigger. The eco-friendly initiative didn't stop at electric vehicles. The delivery man also introduced biodegradable packaging materials and encouraged clients to opt for minimal packaging. He even started a program where customers could return used packaging for recycling, earning discounts on future deliveries. These small changes added up, and soon, Swift and Sure Deliveries was recognized as a leader in sustainable business practices. The company's commitment to sustainability caught the attention of the media. A national news outlet featured the delivery man in a segment about eco-friendly businesses. The segment highlighted his journey from being an underrated delivery driver to building a successful, socially responsible company. It was a proud moment, not just for him but for his entire team. But the delivery man didn't let the recognition go to his head. He knew that success wasn't just about accolades, it was about making a difference. He continued to focus on his core values: reliability, customer service, and community involvement. He also made sure to give credit to his team, knowing that none of it would have been possible without their hard work and dedication. One day, he received a letter from a young girl in the community. She had written a school report about Swift and Sure Deliveries and its eco-friendly initiatives. In her letter, she thanked the delivery man for inspiring her to think about how she could make a difference in the world. "You've shown me that even small changes can have a big impact," she wrote. "I want to grow up and be like you." The delivery man was deeply moved by the letter. It reminded him why he had started the business in the first place, not just to succeed, but to inspire others and make the world a better place. He framed the letter and hung it in his office as a reminder of the impact his work could have. As the business continued to grow, the delivery man faced new challenges. Competition was increasing, and he had to find ways to stay ahead. He began exploring new markets, like offering specialized delivery services for medical supplies and perishable goods. He also invested in advanced logistics software to further optimize operations. Through it all, he remained grounded. He continued to mentor young entrepreneurs, support local charities, and spend time with his family. He knew that his success wasn't just about building a business, it was about building a legacy. As he looked to the future, the delivery man felt a sense of excitement and purpose. He had come so far, but he knew there was still more to do. And he was ready for whatever came next. The delivery man stood at the window of his office, looking out at the bustling streets below. It had been years since he had started Swift and Sure Deliveries with nothing but a dream and a determination to succeed. Now, the company was a thriving, eco-friendly business with a reputation for excellence and a growing presence across the region. But as he reflected on his journey, he knew that this wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. One of his proudest achievements was the company's commitment to sustainability. The transition to electric vehicles had not only reduced the company's carbon footprint but also inspired other businesses to follow suit. The delivery man had become a vocal advocate for eco-friendly practices, speaking at conferences and collaborating with environmental organizations. He even started a non-profit initiative to help small businesses adopt sustainable practices, offering grants and resources to those who wanted to make a difference. But his impact went beyond the environment. Swift and Sure Deliveries had become a symbol of hope and resilience, a testament to what could be achieved with hard work and determination. The delivery man's story had inspired countless people, from young entrepreneurs to individuals facing their own struggles. He received letters and messages every week, thanking him for showing that no dream was too big and no obstacle too great. One day, he received an invitation to speak at a prestigious business summit. The event would bring together some of the most successful entrepreneurs and thought leaders in the country. The delivery man was honored but also nervous. He had never considered himself a public speaker, and the thought of addressing such a large audience was daunting. His wife, as always, was his biggest supporter. "You've worked so hard to get here," she said. "This is your chance to share your story and inspire even more people. You've got this." Her words gave him the confidence he needed. He spent weeks preparing his speech, pouring his heart into every word. He wanted to be honest, to share not just his successes but also his struggles and the lessons he had learned along the way. The day of the summit arrived, and the delivery man stood backstage, his heart pounding. As he walked onto the stage, the audience erupted into applause. He took a deep breath and began to speak. He talked about his humble beginnings, the challenges he had faced, and the values that had guided him. He spoke about the importance of resilience, community, and staying true to oneself. And he shared his vision for the future, a future where businesses could thrive while making a positive impact on the world. The audience was captivated. When he finished, the room erupted into a standing ovation. People lined up to shake his hand, share their own stories, and thank him for his inspiration. It was a moment he would never forget. But even as he basked in the recognition, the delivery man remained focused on his mission. He knew that success wasn't just about personal achievement, it was about lifting others up. He continued to mentor young entrepreneurs, offering guidance and support to those who were just starting out. He also expanded his nonprofit initiative, partnering with schools and community organizations to teach young people about entrepreneurship and sustainability. At home, he made sure to spend quality time with his family. His children were growing up fast, and he wanted to be there for every milestone. He often took them to the company's headquarters, showing them the ropes and teaching them the values that had guided him. He hoped that one day, they would carry on his legacy, not just in business but in making a difference in the world. As the years went by, swift and sure deliveries continued to grow and evolve. The delivery man's vision had become a reality, but he knew that the journey was far from over. There were always new challenges to face, new opportunities to seize, and new lives to touch. One evening, as he sat with his family, he reflected on how far he had come. From being mocked and underestimated to building a successful, socially responsible business, his journey had been anything but easy. But he had never given up, and that was what made all the difference. As he looked to the future, he felt a sense of excitement and purpose. He had proven that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of faith, anything was possible. And he was ready for whatever came next.